For 5 decades, Cosley Zoo has provided the community with an up-close look at both feathered and furry friends. On Saturday, it will celebrate its 50th anniversary since opening on August 17, 1974. Now a 5-acre home to over 200 native wild and domestic farm animals, the zoo got its start from the donation of a small stretch of farmland.
The land originally was a little over an acre, was donated to the Wheaton Park District because the former landowner, Harvey Cosley, did not want it developed commercially. When he passed away, he asked that the land not be developed, and he told that to his wife's cousin, Paula Jones, which was his only living relative.
With Cosley's wishes in mind, the Park District decided to welcome more animals to the existing farm, turning it into a zoo. It opened as Cosley Children's Park and Museum with only 1 staff member and a handful of farm animals. In 1976, the zoo was renamed to better reflect its purpose.
They wanted to be a little more specific about what the facility was, so they changed it to Cosley Animal Farm because at the time it primarily had farm animals and then a handful of kind of mismatched wild animals, some native, some non-native.
As the zoo entered the 1980s, it began expanding its facilities and events. In 1982, it added the aviary that today houses native birds. That same year, the zoo launched its first Run for the Animals fundraiser. 2 years later, the zoo added the Mike Williams Cosley Zoo Classic Golf Outing, Pumpkin Fest, and the Festival of Lights and Christmas Tree Sale, all of which are still going strong today. That was also the year Walgren joined the zoo as only one of 2 staff members, marking the beginning of what would become her 40-year history with Cosley Zoo. In 1986, the Cosley Foundation was formed, a not-for-profit organization that helps raise funds for the zoo. Its first project was the Vern Keebler Learning Center, also known as the Big Red Barn or the Barn Learning Center.
It provided us not only with better, improved spaces for the animals, but also a classroom, so we could do more programming, as well as some areas like food preparation areas and things that again facilitate the care of the animals. It also allowed the zoo to then be open 12 months a year. Prior to that, it had been open April through October.
The foundation next made a splash by creating the 66,000-gallon duck pond in 1990. At the end of the decade, the zoo had its final name change.
I was getting increasing phone calls about, do you do apple picking? Do you do hay rides? And it was kind of around the time when the big pumpkin farms came into being and those kind of things. So, it kind of dawned on me, we're not a farm. We have farm animals, but we don't operate like a farm. We have a collection of animals, which is a zoo. So we changed our name in 1999 to Cosley Zoo.
When Cosley Zoo entered the new millennium, it earned accreditation from the Association of Zoos and Aquariums for its high standards in animal well-being, conservation, and education. The zoo continues to be accredited today.
AZA is something that we earn. Less than 10% of zoos and aquariums have achieved that status. Out of probably all the things I've accomplished during my 40-year career here, that's something I'm probably the most proud of.
She also takes pride in the zoo's conservation efforts, like the Blandings Turtle Recovery Project.
We became partners with the Forest Preserve District of DuPage County back in 2001, and since then have added more partners, but we've been part of rearing and releasing more than 4,000 of these state endangered animals back into the wilds of DuPage County, so it's been a great project.
More facilities have been added along the way, including a veterinary clinic, a bobcat habitat for 2 new residents, an amphitheater, and a nature play area for kids. And more animals as well. 2 Canadian lynxes joined the mix in 2022, with 2 North American porcupines making their prickly entrance earlier this year. Looking ahead, the zoo hopes to add 93 additional parking spots on the east side of Gary Avenue by next spring. This expansion plan was approved by the Wheaton Planning and Zoning Board and will go to the Wheaton City Council for a final decision.
So we'll be offering a little more parking, which has been a problem for years on busy days like today when it's nice out.
As for programs, the zoo is introducing a behind-the-scenes adventure with Dig the Armadillo. Guests can sign up to get an up-close look at the life of an armadillo and learn about its characteristics and importance. And in a special nod to the 50th anniversary, the zoo has placed 7 panels on its grounds, sharing its history with visitors. But one part of its past will be leaving the zoo soon. Sue Walgren will say goodbye to the 40-member zoo crew and 200 animal residents as she retires in January after 40 years at the zoo.
It's a special place. It really is.
But she's proud of the zoo's long-term purpose as it heads toward the next 50 years.
We have our focus on animal well-being, a focus on conservation, and a focus on education. And kind of the top of that stool is creating memories and, time for families to be together.
For Naperville News 17, I'm Jesus Cortez.